And we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast, talking about all things pro wrestling here, there, and everywhere. Got another fun show for you here tonight. But before we get started, I was just kind of thinking, Dominique LaRue, that you and I are in the wrong business. You and I are in the wrong line of work. We should have been a fired college football coach.
I'm trying to tell you, like, uh, what? That's the second firing we've seen in recent months.
The third high profile firing, but the
Yeah,
second one with an absolutely ridiculous buyout. If you're not familiar, Brian Kelly, who I never thought was a good fit at LSU, got let go today, and his buyout is 54 million.
yeah. He is.
I don't know, but that's a lot of American dollars.
He's second behind Jimbo Fisher in biggest buyout.
Yeah, Jimbo. Yeah, what Jimbo? Something like 70
Maybe
million or something absolutely insane. Jeez, where are these boosters coming up with this money? My God. Well, fortunately, we don't have to worry about that in wrestling. We just have to worry about putting down a second mortgage on our houses to buy tickets to wrestling events.
right.
Speaking of, we do have an episode of Saturday night's main event coming up here in the next weekend. It's coming up here on November the 1st. And shaping up to be an interesting show. It's shaping up to be quite an interesting show, with, I think, a lot of implications on the WWE title scene moving forward. What match are you looking forward to the most? I'm definitely looking forward to the main event just to kind of see what Jey Uso and CM Punk can do.
Well, I'm looking forward to that as well. Um, but the match that intrigues me the most is the Jade and Tiffany. Obviously, selfishly because I've been
Yeah.
calling for Tiffany to lose the belt, but the way they might have set it up this past Friday on SmackDown, um, we look like we're turning to the, I said it in the group text amongst our wrestling group, uh, the AEW version of Jade, and I'm excited for it because you know, no cliche or the old thing about like we got two different brands and like you have to have yin and yang. Obviously, Stephanie is the babyface of the champions. Um, I mean, but obviously on two different brands, if the quote unquote babyface, if you got two baby faces, they got to be the biggest baby faces. Like they can't just be kind of like mid or whatever because the dynamic ain't there. But Stephanie's the biggest babyface women's champion, and then on the other hand, you have a we don't know. We don't know if Tiffany's babyface. We don't know if she's heel. She's kind of like middle, but in the middle, it's not even like a anti either or. I mean, like Randy Orton is the perfect example. Is the perfect middle. Like he
Hmm.
went from being one of the greatest heels of all time to like we love and adore him because of what he put into the company. And I mean, at one point he was kind of like a babyface is after he got kicked out of Evolution. But with Tiffany, they did a terrible job of booking Tiffany. Like, I mean, obviously, I know you can agree with me on that, and I know many other people online could possibly agree with it. Um, but at the same time, Naomi got hurt, so Stephanie had to step in and be that champion to hold it down on Raw. And I mean, I know this ain't got nothing to do with it, but at one point, I mean, Naomi was the heel. Like she was hot. And you still had Tiffany, unfortunately, as champion, but eventually they probably was finna pull that title off her anyway and set up Jay versus Naomi. But they had to kind of like, I guess, push it a little bit more until they get stuff settled.
Right, and yeah, and of course, Naomi getting pregnant did not kind of help that storyline at all.
Could you imagine that um crown jewel match if Naomi was still champion and Jade was champion on SmackDown?
Oh, that would have been a hell of a lot better. I know that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it probably wouldn't have happened because I mean, if we're not mistaken, Stephanie was going to wrestle Naomi at um
Uh, uh,
at
uh, uh, Crash in
Clash,
Paris.
Clash in Paris. Yeah. So
Yeah, Crash in Paris. Because she won the, yeah. But I think like Jade Cargill has always kind of been a wild card in the women's division, in my opinion. She's never gonna she's never gonna make people think that she's one of the best workers in the game. Number one. She's gotten better, but she's still not gonna make people, think that she's prime Trish Stratus or whatever.
mm,
But her character work, if she, kind of going back to that nasty I am that be heel that he was in AEW, which it kind of looks like she's going towards that, could work wonders for her gimmick, could work wonders for her character, and honestly could work wonders with that division with Naomi being on the shelf, being pregnant right now.
I mean, we need it. No, SmackDown needs it. Like at
Big
the end
time.
of the day, I'll go to bat and debate with anybody. I mean, if we're going to have a part two or whatever you want to call it with Jade and Tiffy, I said this in previous episodes. Tiffy has to restart. She has to like go back to the drawing board, and you have to either make her a heel or make her a babyface. And the way it's going, she's looking like a babyface, and she needs that turn to happen. And what better way than have her lose and make her vulnerable? I mean, because she already the streak is gone. She lost to Stephanie at Crown Jewel, so now you need the next domino to fall, which is the title be gone. And Jade, like you said, she has everything: the look, the appeal. I mean, her entrance is like it's kind of remind me of Bobby Roode. You cut the
It's a
lights
good comp.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
The light is all like everything is focused on that one person. So with that being said, and with the title, I mean, it's just and then build on that, build on her being. I mean, yeah, she can cheat a little bit here and there, whatever. That's what heels do, but like, do it right. She ain't got to cheat. She look at her. She look. She's physically imposing, and like you said, she's working better in the ring. So like, let's build on that. Get her better. Get her looking good. And then eventually, if you take those tag team titles off of Charlotte and um Alexa,
Oh, Alexa, yeah.
build it up with Charlotte and I mean Charlotte's a babyface now. We finally got Charlotte like she should have been a babyface. So now you got one of the goats in Charlotte and a heel in Jade, and then we finally can have that showdown. like you seen how I mean, we was all like, oh wow, this might be a foreshadow between Charlotte and Jade, and that's money right there.
Oh,
But
oh, that's gold. Yeah.
yeah, but would you say this is the most interesting Saturday night main event we've had recently? Like, I mean, I can't remember the time where we had more than two titles getting defended on Saturday night main event.
And don't forget a number one contender for the IC championship with the
And a
Rusev
number,
and Penta.
yeah, yeah,
Um, there's definitely a lot. There's a lot more possibilities, I think, with this a particular card.
hmm
Um, because with the exception of Roxanne and Nikki Bella, which I've got no interest in because I still don't understand why Nikki Bella is a thing right now. But Rusev and Penta, that's money.
yeah.
Charlotte and Alexa against Bailey and Lyra, that's money.
Mhm.
And then CM Punk and Jey Uso, that's money.
Automatic.
Yeah, yeah. And who should go over in that CM Punk Jey Uso match? Because I think that they're definitely setting things up for another round of Jay versus Jimmy, with Jimmy being the baby face and Jay being the heel. I don't think you need a title for that to get that, to get the drama because these are twin brothers going after each other.
Yeah,
I don't think you need a title for that. But at the same time, it can't hurt because it's like you said during our pre-production, if you can get like the US title involved in that feud, then you can finally get Jimmy Uso to be a singles champion in WWE for the first time. Do you want to put the big belt on him? Do you want to put the world championship? No. But put like a intercontinental on him, and that could be like a beautiful babyface moment, especially as he's going into being a dad.
yeah. And I feel like a win like that is more of a PLE than anything else. I mean, not no disrespect to Saturday Night Main Event, but a moment like that should be special, especially to Jimmy, just like when Jay won the world title at WrestleMania. Um, but my thing is, and as you was saying, the dynamic between the two brothers, and it just popped in my head when you were saying it. Um, let's go back. So when Jay left the bloodline, he wanted to prove on his own that he could do it on his own. And um, Jimmy when Jimmy came back, I think from an injury or whatever, but he cost him the undisputed title
Yep.
and the title of tribal chief. And then we was like, why did he do that? That don't make no sense. And Jimmy was like, I was trying to save you from becoming Roman. I was trying to save you from that greed, that you would have won and it would have changed you. You wouldn't have been yourself anymore. And okay, at the time, it didn't make sense. But once again, and I mean, anybody online can hate us talking about this, but the Bloodline storyline is one of the greatest storylines ever written. Like, it was a perfect storm. It was a slow build. Obviously, it was the most entertaining thing on TV because of the fact of, at that time frame and that period in time, um, you know, we was in the Thunderdome, and that was perfect for certain people because they didn't have the crowd energy and they could like really focus on their character or like what they were doing. So, with that being said, I mean, Jay was the biggest beneficiary of that because we really got to see the other Uso blossom, right? He was getting better on the mic, talking to it. it we can never. I'm never gonna sit here and say Jay is the best talker on the mic. When him and his brother working together is yin and yang and it's great. It works together, but like solo, obviously he's rough around the edges, but
He
around the
definitely can be.
Thunderdome,
Yeah.
yeah, around the Thunderdome time, it was more emotional. I felt more close to him because he was talking about how you see the two and then they try to figure out which or obviously we always knew who Jimmy was because Jimmy was the talker. Jimmy had that personality about him. Jimmy was more outspoken than Jay was. But then this
Yeah.
forced Jimmy's injury at WrestleMania when he hurt his knee and could I mean after the ladder match, and it forced Jay to step up, and that was a blessing. Like we started to see Jay as a performer, like a singles performer, and then the whole bloodline situation happened, and then fast forward now, and he wins the world title, and now all that you worked on back then is starting to creep up now. With Roman telling him, now you got to taste of the mountaintop. Now you see what I've been through, and that seed been planted in his head, and now it's like a conflicting matter of I'm trying not to be the person that we fought all these years, not to be or despised. And then this person that we despise is telling me the truth. Like I see what he see now. But yet my brother, you know, my brother, my twin brother, I love him to death. We ride together, we die together. Like, he's trying to hold me back in a sense. And they could play on that. Like, ever since I got away from you, I've had more success than I could ever imagine. And you keep holding me back. You cost me the undisputed title. You cost me my um you cost me my number one contender match because I had to come save you.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
you know, when I'm not around you or when I'm not involved by you, I start winning for myself. I won the Royal Rumble by myself. I beat Gunther by myself, this and that, and third. And then Jay can flip that, or excuse me, Jimmy can flip that and be like, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have beat Gunther.
Bingo.
Like I pushed you over the edge
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to go to where you needed to go to be able to beat Gunther at WrestleMania.
because you was doubting yourself.
Yeah. And all Jimmy has done in his promos and that is just hold up a mirror because
Yeah.
just like hold up a mirror to Jay is like it. I said it earlier is like you're my brother. I love you. I will support you and protect you, but I do not like what you're becoming. And
And
that's, I
everybody
mean, yeah,
everybody pointed it out. CM Punk said he said, am I talking to Jay or am I talking to baby Roman or Roman point 2.0 or something like that, a little Roman or
right.
whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
obviously LA Knight said the same thing, but it's being pointed out more and more. So it's like, and then even if you're playing on that dynamic, the world title doesn't need to be involved with it.
It's not necessary.
So you have to put it on CM Punk because now, like we talked about in pre-production, CM Punk gets his title reign. He gets it longer than 5 minutes. Obviously, the division is going to be involved in that, have a say in that. Um, Eventually, when Gunther comes back, Gunther gonna have a say in that. He wants his rematch. Obviously, him and LA Knight, they have beef because he cost him his opportunities to beat Seth Rollins for the title. And I mean, CM Punk and Seth Rollins, you ain't even got to go into that. It's right on the wall. But like, then do you start a rivalry between LA Knight and CM Punk over the title? And then do they eventually put the title on LA Knight? Probably not. But you could build off of that, and that can go into multiple weeks until you figure out what you want to do next. But to have Jay, and I mean, did you see the WWE post? Like Jay beating what was it, Dom for the number one contender spot at Saturday Night Main
Hmm.
Event? The most
I do,
disliked
yeah.
video. Like fans are tired. And you know me, I support Jay. I'm
Yeah.
one of the supporters of Jay, but I'm
You
more
you
tired of
you you and me both.
yes. And like, from all the great calls we've called over the year about Jay, like my call and my frustration is not Jay in a sense. I mean, I can watch multiple you. I mean, I pretty much I pretty much got over that hill of like super kick, spear, uh, body, excuse me, body splash or whatever. I wish he had more moves. Granted, we're in a new day and age where everybody repeats the same moves, so I get it.
Yep.
But I need a different Jay. I need a crash out and Roman 2.0 mixed together, where Jay stops yeeting. He stops connecting to the crowd in that way. Kind of like a John Cena's heel ish kind of like he turns his back on us and he starts like if you could turn your back on your brother, why you can't turn your back on us?
Your twin brother.
Your twin brother, yes. If you could turn your back on your twin brother, throw him out, eliminate him on your quest to get your title back. Don't that sound kind of Romy-ish?
It sounds very tribal chiefy to me.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited for that dynamic, and you know, ain't no telling what they're going to do. I'm I'm excited and looking forward to what they do, but I just pray, I pray, because you know how many times we griped about this, that they get it right.
Yeah. You know, you you bring up a great point now that I wanted to piggyback on just in a different way. I've said this several times. You and me both have said this over the course of this podcast that some guys are better champions, but some guys are better chasers. Dusty Rhodes is the prime example of this. Dusty Rhodes, when he was going up against Nikita and Ric Flair and all those guys back in the 80s, the biggest baby face in the world, but he rarely held that title. He was a better chaser.
Mhm.
Jey Uso was kind of falling into that category, in my opinion, because when you have him with that title, like after he beat Gunther, right? When you have him with that title, it just kind of deflates his heat a little bit, in my opinion. You like the moment of him winning the title, the streamers, the tears, all that stuff, yeeting with the sun. I get it, I get it. But that moment was quite fleeting. Some guys are better chasers, some guys are better champions. And unless they make some changes on Jey Uso's character, his heat is going to die, in my opinion. It already kind of feels like it's fading a little bit
Mhm.
because it's the shame shtick every time he comes to the ring. You know, start on, cameras start on him in the concourse. He goes through the crowd. The yeet. He's picking up a kid. I mean, it's it, it can get old quickly if they're not careful.
Absolutely. As you was talking about that, I was thinking about the difference between chaser and champion. And prime example, um, Gunther. You know, Gunther chase after. If Gunther wants a title, he goes after a title. Eventually, he gets that title, and once he gets that title, it's like it's nothing different from whether he's going after a title or winning that title. He still puts on great matches.
Hmm.
His promos are always great. You know, obviously you know, we pick things out of it like not so great, but at the end of the day, it's still a solid promo, regardless.
Yeah,
Um,
especially for somebody who doesn't speak English as a first language.
yes, and obviously a guy who don't like to wear socks, but but the thing is, like, he wins the title, nothing different. Randy wins the title, nothing different. Um, I wish Drew would have won the title. Which he did he win the title in front of a crowd? His first title, or was it
No,
during Thunderdome?
that was at the Thunderdome. No, or the Performance Center.
That's right. That's right. Um, Drew could be in that category as well. I think if Drew won the title back, I don't see his character losing any heat because Drew is just that good of a heel. I mean,
Yeah,
he can be a babyface too, but some guys are better as heels than they are babyface. And do you think that they pull the trigger and have Drew go over on Cody?
if it was at a pay-per-view, maybe
But they didn't pull it. They didn't pull the trigger at WrestlePalooza.
a real pay-per-view.
It was the biggest pay per view. It was the grand spanking new ESPN app. We pulling out all the strings. We got all the celebrities there. Blah blah blah. We brought um our guy Pat McAfee out. You know that wasn't a real
Dom,
PF.
Dom, I love you, but you're working way too hard right now on this. You get what I'm saying though, is
Oh,
like
absolutely,
if this was
absolutely.
at a SummerSlam or WrestleMania or Survivor Series, possibly. I don't see him doing it Saturday night.
Do we have any shenanigans happening in that match?
I would love to see a little bit of Cody Rhodes going to the dark side. Not like full Homelander yet, but I would love to see him going a little bit to the dark side. And yes, I do see that look on your face talking about Cody's promo the other day. That yeah, that really stood out to me.
What about the SmackDown last week? Not this recent week, but the week before last week, when he was fighting Drew in the suit, which I thought that was funny because I think they do listen to our podcast. Maybe they listen to somebody's podcast and they say the same thing. But it was funny to see Cody wrestle in a full suit. And I'm like, oh, did he listen to Ryan? Did he was like, all right, I'm gonna start wrestling in the suit just to be whatever. But and then
And and,
what
and,
also
and don't forget the freshly signed Oxford shoes now. Don't forget those.
yeah, I can't forget that. And then what also like was shocking to me is Cody lost by
He did.
DQ.
He did.
And that set my alarm off because I'm like, okay, that was kind of titter tattling on the verge of cheating. That is something that he'll does, or somebody that fully snapped. So could we get like a not a heel Cody, but one that is very unpredictable when he gets pushed to a certain level?
We need something. What that looks like, I don't know, but we need something because the more that Cody Rhodes goes down this complete milk toast babyface thing, the more he's gonna I mean, it's going to end up like Super Cena, where half the crowd was booing him, just booing the hell out of him as soon as he came out out through the curtain.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally going to be where WWE was when I kind of faded off from it. When they had John Cena win every match, they didn't push any talent that was getting any kind of recognition over, and it was basically PG era. So to put
Right.
it blunt,
By the way, my favorite John Cena match from that time frame was at the first ECW One Night Stand.
ooh, when he lost the
You-
Rob Van
Rob
Dam,
Van Dam, Rob Van
yeah,
Dam. Do
that
you
was not
remember
ECW.
the nuclear heat that man had walking into the Hammerstein Ballroom that night?
Oh my God, I thought he wasn't gonna make it out safely.
I'm
To be honest,
about to say, I thought they were going to kill the man.
I literally thought the dude was gonna set this shirt on fire and throw it right back at him because I mean the way he threw the shirt out and that dude just automatically, without hesitation, as soon as it touched his hand, he threw it right back at Johnson. He threw it back at the ring, obviously, and hit the rope. But that was heat. That is what heat, ladies and gentlemen, is legitly supposed to be. John Cena, for all his greatness, if you could bottle up the most disgusted anger of someone, ECW basically displayed that night.
Mm-hmm.
He was enemy number one that night. Any other heel would have came out like Edge cost him the title. Edge is a heel, but ECW fans were cheering Edge.
Yep.
Like anybody could have got cheered that night. The most hated heel of all time could have came out and he would have got cheered by fans.
2023 Dom Mysterio could have come out and they would have cheered him that night.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Saturday night actually looks like a pretty good show. I'm going to need to, I think, figure out the best way to watch it because I don't currently subscribe to Peacock and I'm not really wild about having to resubscribe to it. But I might just, I might just bite the bullet on that.
Yeah, I mean we down to our four appearance. I mean, we're down to our four appearances of John Cena, and
Well,
you
I'm
got
not missing, Cena's final match.
you
Final match. I'm still hanging on to that one.
you're definitely on that. Oh, it's not gonna be his final match.
Now, why would you retire that man in a Saturday night's main event in December? You do that at
December.
WrestleMania in front of a stadium full of crazy people.
John said he got appearances for movies he got to do. He ain't got time to be going all the way to February trying to wrestle.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. How many times did Terry Funk retire? Come on.
How many times Ric Flair retired?
Yeah. I will never retire. Woo!
That man still performing to this day, even though he's not in the ring. So
Yeah. And don't let him get in the ring again, or else he's gonna do a 3-minute plank in the middle of the ring. And yeah, it's Nature Boy is my favorite of all time, but following him on social media is a chore right now.
I try not to.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears. We're recording this on Sunday night. And WWE released one of the weirdest promos they have released in a long time on their social media channel. It's like a 20-second video at a super close up of a man wearing a suit with black shoes, black socks, and almost like as a teaser kind of post. I will link that tweet in the show notes on this podcast if you want to take a look at it. But there's a lot of speculation of who this guy might be, of who those feet might belong to. My first, my brain says Gunther's about ready to come back, but you and I both know the figure in that video was wearing socks, and our guy Walter does not like to wear socks.
Let's see. Walter don't like to wear socks, but Gunther might like to wear socks.
Oh, it's the same man, Dom. Don't start.
No, but it like you said, it's very interesting to, I mean, predict, and obviously we don't know. It's a well-round variety of people that it could possibly be, but automatically, you think Gunther. Um, in recent weeks, you've been pointing out to me and a buddy of mine. He also has sent me a couple links. Uh, the status of Y2J, future Hall of Famer Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Now, him wearing suit pants and that particular shoes, I can't imagine him walking in that, because I automatically think of his band and just, El Capitan and, you know, whatever name he comes up with. But, and then for somebody like Chris Jericho, I just think about his grand entrance he did when he first came to WWE and interrupted The Rock, and
The Rock in his prime.
in his prime, and also had a countdown, you know, like when Y2J was coming. I mean, well, excuse me, Y2K was coming.
Yep.
Um, so I don't think that it's Chris Jericho, but I'm not disagreeing with you of it possibly being Chris Jericho. Another thought and prediction I have is in recent weeks we've discussed this, and a particular character who has been known to wear suits was recently, fairly recently, but not too recent now, um, former son-in-law of a particular Nature Boy Ric Flair, and pretty much been in the limelight recently for something that I have never seen in my life, that I can ever think of. Cease and desist. That
Yeah, our boy Andrade.
Andrade. Yeah. So could it be Andrade coming back and, making amends and basically working out his contract till he gets released? I mean, not released, excuse me, because I mean he was released, but I guess working out his deal to get done and let his contract, you know, fall out and then go to AEW or what? I don't know. It's just 2025. I mean, recent years has been wacky, but this year has definitely been very wacky as far as like what's going on in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, that's to say the least, my friend. It could be Andrade. Another name you've mentioned that I feel like deserves a little conversation is Obafemi. Now, if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, I've been wanting Obafemi on the main roster since I think before WrestleMania. The guy has been ready this whole time. And he's the guy that wears those fancy suits. He's the guy that can wear those fancy shoes.
Yeah, he has the look. Another guy that could talk on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to be honest, if you're not gonna take the title off of Drew, and I don't know what you're doing with the talent that you have, as far as like giving Cody people to wrestle. And you know how I feel about this in particular. You can't just come onto the show and just automatically get pushed that fast, that hard, unless it makes sense. And granted, it still doesn't make sense for Obafemi just to come in and win the undisputed title, but would we be against it?
Undisputed title. I don't know if I would be against it, but I don't think it would be a smart move.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, like, I previously said to you, because it's like, I mean, but it's not like we haven't seen it before. You just skip taking your bumps and, like, you know, the line necessarily, like they like to bring up a lot. And
Right.
then it's a big, in my eyes, is a big FU to LA Knight.
Oh, big time.
But Obafemi is a guy that has came. I'm not. I'm unsure about his life outside of WWE. I don't know if he came from a other promotion or anything like that. But as far as, which I think he came from, I think he came from the NIL thing, or the whatever they got.
Yeah,
That,
yeah. Former, he threw shot put at Alabama. Actually,
yeah. So
was it shot put or disc? Yeah, I mean, he was part of the track and field team.
yeah. So he's WWE born and raised. So
Yep.
um, it wouldn't be a disrespect in that aspect if you're thinking about it, but it would be still disrespect because of what LA Knight, who he is. I mean, where he came from. He obviously took his bumps like everybody else. Worked in Indies and then came, from TNA and this, and that, and third. But it's like a rookie coming in just winning the world. I mean, just winning the MVP award. But I mean, if he done his work and shown that he belongs, then nobody's gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, that's crazy." And I mean, Open Femi has the look. I mean, everything about him is on the same aspect and realm of Braun Breaker. Like, Braun Breaker wins the title right now, we won't be
Yeah.
pissed off about it. He would have came in and won the world title. It skipped the whole, icy rain and this, that, the third. We wouldn't have been
Right.
pissed off about it. So
But Braun Breaker has also got the momentum behind him. He's got the, he's got the heat behind him. They built him up right because when he wins the heavyweight championship, and I think it's inevitable, just not a matter of if but when. But when he wins it, it's going to be well earned because they obviously are going to, stick a rocket on that guy's back.
I got another prediction, but I mean it's probably far fetched. It's probably don't make any kind of sense. I mean, I can't judge a
Right.
person by his foot. Um, what about Keith
Except for
Lee?
except for Gunther, who doesn't wear socks.
True. Uh, but the reason why I say that is because his name just popped in. Keith Lee.
Hmm.
Very random promo. No word of if Keith Lee is even wrestling still, or his status as far as AEW
If
goes,
if
or
he's a free agent, yeah.
and his wife is with SmackDown.
Hmm. And has been in a pretty prominent program for the U.S. Championship too.
Yep. That's just a random name that popped in my head, and I wanted to just throw it out there. And I have said this on the show many, many times. Well, not many, many times, but I have said it, I believe. But I will say it today. And I was very backing of Keith Lee when he came into the main roster. Well, was he in the main roster? No, he was in
Yeah,
Survivor
yeah,
Series. Well, yeah, he was,
yeah.
main roster. But when he fought Roman when Roman was the big dog and they was the final two, I was like, oh God, like he's going to be he's going to be one of the next big things, and he had the potential at the time. And then, like, obviously what happened, you go to AEW and they don't use him correctly, but to get him back, and could you imagine the matches between him, Bronson Reed, um, Solo, Jacob Fatu,
Oof.
the big guy, I can't even name his name, but the big guy in MTF or whatever. Uh, the list goes on and on.
Hikuleo, who they're calling Pala Tonga for some ridiculous reason.
Yeah, from some ridiculous, crazy reason. But
I love the thought. I remember having a conversation with a guy a couple of years ago. I started talking wrestling, and he said that he saw Keith Lee in a independent show. I want to say it was at Danbury, Connecticut, which is about an hour and change from me here in Stamford by car. Um, and he said that Keith Lee was the closest thing he ever saw to Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, Keith Lee was doing stuff in that ring that was just absolutely ridiculous. That was just absolutely um yeah, just absolutely insane. And
no,
the
it
way
was
that
so
they
insane.
misused that man, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the way that they just misused that man at WWE is still something that pisses me off.
yeah, because I mean, like, I don't get how they used them perfectly in NXT, and then when they get to the main roster, it's just like you don't try to build off that momentum, or try to stick within that same lane you had them in NXT and kind of like work on it in main
You
roster.
had Samoa freaking Joe, who is a made man, and you wasted him. Samoa Joe was a made man, and you wasted him.
Yeah, the man had it all. The man was imposing. He could talk on the mic. If he won the title, I wouldn't have been pissed because I mean, like, you literally took Seth Rollins out. Whether it was on purpose or not, it made his character that much dangerous. You go toe to toe with Brock Lesnar, and I mean, as much as we hated that name and that just poo poo of a show, the one bright spot of GBO.
Say it, Dom. Come on, say it.
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire. The poo poo of Great Balls of Fire. That one bright element was that match between him and Brock Lesnar. It was
Yeah.
the one of the most physical, just outright, as JR likes to say, slobber knocker of a match. And I mean, toe,
The definition of a hoss fight.
yes, toe to toe. I mean, it wasn't like, he just got one up on Brock. It was face to face fighting. And I haven't seen anybody go toe to toe to Brock other than like Roman or Braun, but Braun is slow. And I say Braun, I mean Braun Strowman. And
Right.
like, that's still gonna be one of my highlights of Samoa Joe's career in WWE. So, I mean, he had a lot in NXT, of course, but like main roster wise, him and Brock Lesnar going toe to toe, and him looking like he's going to beat Brock Lesnar was by far one of the best outright matches I've ever seen.
Yeah. The Samoa Joe, he could cook you on the mic. He was funny as hell. He's a funny guy.
Very intelligent.
Um, like he had he's got that his nope spot and I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, where like a guy would go, come off the top rope, and you would think as a wrestling fan, Samoa Joe's going to catch him and take a bump, but he just like walks away and maybe waggles his finger, and the guy just like falls flat on his face.
It's
Those
like
are hilarious spots to me.
a nope is like whenever a performer is finna start their comeback. The
Mhm.
comebacks where Stone Cold start punching, 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 and he throws you, and then like he jumps on top of you and start beating you, or uh, let's see another one. Who's another comeback? Perfect, perfect example. Jeff Hardy. He gets going, and then he hits the what is it? Whisper in the wind.
Whisper in the wind. Yep.
When he goes for that whisper in the wind, and most of the time people are standing looking dazed and look up, and Samoa Joe just turn to the side and be like
Just like
what?
walk away.
Yeah, just walk away. And everybody like, oh, and he like, huh? What? Nah,
Hey, and what the
nah.
hell are you doing? Oh,
Oh, I was supposed to take that.
you're doing, yeah.
I was supposed to
Yeah.
take that. No, no, I'm not taking that. Oh.
Yeah. But I like the idea on Keith Lee, the possibility of it being Keith Lee.
Yeah, possibly.
Um, though I'm kind of leaning towards Chris Jericho at this point. Just
Yeah.
like Chris Jericho in the suited and booted phase of his career, where he would come out wearing a Cody Rhodes three-piece suit with the nice shoes, and like do like the pompous promos, because that man's reinvented himself not a million times.
And my thing is, if somebody like his caliber comes back, and I'm glad that CM Punk said what he said. I read a recent article. It basically like he's talking about his time is coming eventually, and he looks John Cena's retiring, AJ Styles retiring next year, and obviously his time is coming, but these guys are paying it forward, and you know obviously they want to selfishly do things they want to do that they didn't get to do when the old man was in there, but also paying it forward because they see the talent. They see the talent that's coming up and making names for themselves, and like they're paying it forward. Like they're helping these guys in the backstage and just giving their knowledge where they can. And you hear all these stories about now how the locker room is completely different than what it was back then, and everybody loves working with each other. Or the bad trope of CM Punk is, he's a cancer in the locker room, and the whole fiasco that happened at his previous job with AEW. Um, you don't get that sense over in WWE, and like just to see utter the utter love and surprise and smiles and things like they do TikToks and stuff, and you can see the family aspect of it. And I mean, obviously, obviously, it works because of Triple H. Because I mean, you and I know that would have never happened 10 to 20 years ago. Like
Absolutely not.
it took some real adulting and just soul searching and like, being grown from that, from the both of them, really. And, obviously they had to talk about it, and like, Triple H ain't gonna allow a man to come back and still be the same person, but he saw the difference in CM Punk and saw that like CM Punk just wants to be amongst professionals. That's all it is. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you don't want to go to your job and, pick up slack from somebody that is getting paid more than you and you know more than them, and they're just sitting on their butt, or they're just, making a mockery of the business. But like, what I'm trying to get at is that I hope when Triple H, I mean not Triple H, excuse me, sorry. I hope when Chris Jericho comes back, I hope he pays it forward as well, which I know for a fact that I get the feeling that he will just off the sheer listening to his pod and never really hearing much about Chris Jericho in the sense of like he's a you know cancer in the locker room or whatever the case may be. Because I mean,
Yeah.
uh, I still remember the story of him trying to whoop Brock Lesnar's tail for was it the Undertaker match or something where he was totally pissed.
Randy Orton.
Randy, yes, yes. When he
Yeah.
took his gloves off and he like busted Randy open and like, Chris Jericho of all people trying to go toe to toe with Brock Lesnar because of what he went off script or did something,
Thinking that he went off script. Yeah.
yeah, thinking that he went off script and just busted Randy when they both had an agreement on him doing that, I think. So
Yeah. You know who the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest example of a guy paying it forward in this position right here is Shawn Michaels down at NXT, because Shawn Michaels, nobody was a bigger diva, nobody was a bigger pain in the ass in that locker room than Shawn Michaels.
yeah,
But
yeah,
now he's mature. He's, not doing drugs anymore, that kind of thing. But he's paying it forward and, and supporting people like, all the people down in NXT right now. And I don't know, to your point, I don't know if this could have or would have happened under the old man, because you've got wrestlers who are part of, you know you've got you've got guys like Triple H, like Shawn Michaels, like like Michael Hayes, guys like that who have taken thousands and thousands of bumps, who have traveled the road, who have done some reprehensible stuff. Let's not get it twisted here,
yeah.
but who have traveled the road, who have performed in front of stadiums, but they know what it takes to give back to the younger guys, to the, to the Trick Williams, to the, Carmelo Hayes of the world, to the, to the Stephanie Vicaire, to the Roxanne Perez, um, people who, you know, are just now coming up. And, you know, I think Chris Jericho could be a great asset to that. CM
Yeah.
Punk has already proven to be a great asset to that. And it sounds like CM Punk wants to work even closer with the NXT people after he hangs it up.
I think it was recently discussed that maybe CM Punk would take Shawn Michaels' spot once Shawn Michaels steps down, I believe, or like CM Punk would probably be the head honcho over at NXT. I think they discussed that recently when
I,
CM Punk kind of came back in his earlier months.
yeah, no, I can absolutely buy that, because from what I understand, Triple H had to talk Shawn Michaels, like really talk him into taking that job.
Yeah, like he didn't want to not necessarily not do it, but like he would rather be in like I think Undertaker's situation where he kind of like come in every now and then like talk to the talent or whatever the case may be, but not like be over a promotion like that.
Not putting in 60, 70, 80 hours a week doing that job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Um another fun episode.
Awesome. Awesome
Yeah,
episode.
another fun episode. A reminder, we still have that giveaway that we spoke about last week. We still have that giveaway of the Monday Night Raw shirt, generously signed by the hardcore icon Mick Foley. All you have to do to qualify to win that is to like our YouTube channel, is subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like our Facebook page. It's that simple. And once we get to 100 likes on our Facebook page, we're going to give that thing away. So let's start. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell the people who you don't even think would like wrestling to like to like that page, and get that shirt signed by the hardcore icon.
The man, the legend.
Yes, sir. A man who you got to shake his hand.
Shake his hand, thank him in person. Just that moment will forever like be embedded in me until I meet another wrestler. But um,
Totally, man.
just to get the overall, just to be in the presence of him and his aura, and like you rubbed shoulders with like some of the greats is crazy.
Completely. Completely. Before we go home here today, as we're recording this on Sunday night, what do you hope to see on Monday Night Raw?
What do I hope? So
Yeah.
one, where are we going with the vision? Um, with them not being involved in that battle royal, which I figured that wasn't going to happen. What are their plans now? Where do we go from here as far as that? Also, where do we go here from here with Judgment Day losing the tag team titles? Are we finally going to get them breaking up? Um, I believe so because of the fact that you got them in a match. So you don't think Finn is going to be pissed about that and basically start his plotting against Dom? And more what we like to say, as far as like deep embedded wrestling fans are, is the storytelling between Jay and Jimmy, like planting the seeds for them to run it back, but run it back correctly, and don't involve the world title in this dynamic.
Because you don't need to.
And kind of early planning for Survivor Series, because I mean, like once Saturday hits, we're like officially going to be 28 days away from Survivor Series, and we have no idea. I mean, we pretty random, and it's
Yeah.
not even just Raw; it's SmackDown too. Like you got MFT, you got the Wyatt Six, you got um, Division with their two guys, and potentially more coming. You have five guys that are bickering over the world title, basically. Not five, but just basically you got Jay, you got CM Punk, you got LA Knight. I mean, you could put Braun in there too. And potentially maybe Gunther coming back. We got John Cena, his last four appearances, and we haven't even heard a whiff of when he's going to make an appearance. Normally they'd be like, John Cena's coming back, next Monday or whatever the case may be. But we're 2 months out with four appearances left. So are you telling me he's making two appearances a month or what?
And also, don't forget, there's two really, you know, big towns that Raw is going to be playing in over the next few weeks. Is going to be playing his last show at Madison Square Garden and his last show in Boston Garden.
Yeah.
You know they're
But
going
then
to make a big deal out of those.
you're finishing your career in Washington D.C. I don't get it.
No, you're not. He, I'm dying on that hill, Tom.
I'm right there with you, brother. Like, I ain't gonna let you go out like that by yourself. And it makes more sense. Like you say, it just makes more sense. You cannot finish your career as a pro wrestler, as the guy that started in WWE and carried WWE 20 plus years on your back, and you
Doing
finish it.
some really dark times, by the way.
There's some really dark times. And even like you almost getting released and then had to reinvent yourself. And you ended at a random city of Washington, D.C. with no significance to your career at all, as far as like, nothing. And it'd be Saturday night main event that you ended on. That's kind of, I mean, because The Rock debuted at Survivor Series. Um,
Mhm.
you know, Undertaker debuted, I believe, at Survivor Series or some type
He
of
did.
PLE.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Survivor Series. Yep.
Um, and like, granted, don't
The
get me
same,
wrong.
the same one I think that the Gobbledygooker
Oh wow,
debuted on. Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, John Cena came out on a random SmackDown, and when you know Kurt Angle called out who's the next one to come in here and fight one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But you're a GOAT. You are one of the greatest of all time. You're a future Hall of Famer. You've done it all. And you have to get that taste of that terrible WrestleMania out of your career. Like it's still gonna be a horrible taste in my mouth unless you set it right. And the only way to do that is we're going back to the same location that you gave us that poo-poo match between you and Cody. And I'm not saying fight Cody for your retirement match, but please, for the love of God, if you don't even have to make no more appearances until WrestleMania, you finish your career at WrestleMania. Everybody has done it. Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, basically. He said it. I mean, his last match was basically with um we ain't even gonna think about Crown Jewel. That don't that was whatever.
It.
He
Yeah.
finishes.
No, it's not. It's not canon.
Yeah, it's not canon. Mr. WrestleMania finishes his career at WrestleMania. Ric Flair, Undertaker, basically. I mean, yeah, he finished it. Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
the the match with AJ Styles, WrestleMania. Like Triple H, he don't wrestle no more, but he hung his boots up at WrestleMania. Like you have to finish your storied career at WrestleMania. It makes sense. And if
It
you want
does.
people to pay them high, excuse my French, but you want people to buy them high ass tickets, that is the only way somebody is going to basically mortgage their future is
In their house.
in their house to see you retire at WrestleMania.
You got to justify those ridiculous ticket prices somehow.
You got to, and
Yeah.
ain't no other
Yeah.
way. I mean, you ain't nothing they could come up with John Cena retiring after Saturday Night Main Event to make me think you're going to pay that much price for those. I mean, you're gonna pay that money for those terrible seats. Like I'm not paying 10, 10 bands to sit and use bifocals to see somebody in the ring. That's crazy. I'm not doing it.
And forget about the $20 beer, the $25 burgers, and
Yeah, the
you know,
$40 nachos, something like.
yeah,
Come
forty
on.
dollar nachos and say nothing of $100 t-shirts.
And we just blowing smoke up your butts, but the seats are ridiculous. I mean, the commissions, I mean,
Yeah.
the concession food is probably gonna be all right, but like the seats, hell, the seats for John Cena's last match in Washington D.C. is ridiculous, and they paid it.
Yeah. Hey, hey, well, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely want to start seeing some more, congealing towards towards Survivor Series. I almost heard SummerSlam again, but I stopped myself.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, thank you. I want to see some more movement towards what they're going to be doing with the Survivor Series, with with the War Games matches, and also what they're going to be doing with a little bit of movement forward with this Jimmy versus Jay situation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, well, another fun episode, my guy. Want to explain? Want to do this again next week?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, next week we're going to be talking about Saturday night's main event, and hopefully moving forward towards figuring out just what we're going to be doing with Survivor Series.
I can't
All
wait.
right. Yeah, I cannot wait. And we can't wait to talk about it with you next week here on the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, from wherever you can find podcasts. Follow us on the on our Facebook page to enter to win a chance to win that signed Mick Foley T-shirt, and also to not miss what's going on next with the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. All right.
And for everybody that is currently following us, thank you very much for that. We love you all. We appreciate you all, and just hang tight with us. We plan on giving y'all more content, more you know. We plan on trying to work out some interviews for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to have it. I'd love to have it. We got big plans for this show. So come along for the ride. All right. Until we eat again next week, for Dominique LaRue, I'm Ryan Hall. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for tagging into the Wrestling Roundtable podcast, a presentation of Royal Hearts Media. Take care.